Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've done any longer content video. As you may see, we're in a new facility, so we've got the second of the APX gyms now, something that's been in the pipelines for a very long period of time. Today I'm starting a new block of training, so it's going to be working on getting stronger, building more muscle and getting faster. So those are the three primary targets, and I'm going to be highlighting how I do a mixture of all of those, so being able to get stronger and build muscle, but also not compromising the speed element and being fast and agile, which is pretty much my primary target. So I'm going to be talking you through exercise selection today, talking you through some of the rehab stuff that I do pretty much in every session, and you'll gain an insight into what APX is, what it means, and obviously how you can apply it to your training. What you just saw there was some myofascial work, or just basically open up the hips with that glide on the reformer. That then went into the lengthen work. So basically trying to really stabilize the pelvis using the obliques, but just working on lengthening like the anterior hip and psoas as well, if you can keep those obliques really stable in that lengthened position, hence why I had the weight on my foot. What this allows you to do is that if I'm thinking about being nice and tall in the sprinting position, it's keeping that pelvis in a nice position as we're opening up through the hip and driving this forward. So in other words, it's just the same position, but in a different way. So gravity has an effect where you're having to work hard lengthening the hip. That then goes into the shortened one on the multi-hip there, where that pause is just to really ingrain, locking that position in. That's why there's a pause there at the top. No real need for a eccentric. All I'm thinking about it there is being smooth whilst I'm controlling the hips, which is what I really love about the handles on the Panata machine. So I'll do a couple sets of that each side, so just 2 sets. By the end of it, I notice my hips feel a lot better, and it's going to take a lot of the pressure off the lower lumbar spine as well. The indicator lift I'm going for in this session is going to be a supinated grip pull-up. So prior to going into that, I'm just going to do 1 or 2 feeder sets of just seeing how my body feels and what needs work. And these can be very intuitive. It doesn't have to be set down in the plan, but if you want to improve your supination and getting your palm above your head, a real key area, in my opinion, is teres major in your rhomboid, which essentially is just this upper back region here. So if you give this drill a try, it's a breathing drill coupled with a stretch. It really helps open some space in the upper back. So obviously it can look a little bit funny if you're doing that in a public gym or commercial gym. The point of these isn't to do like, oh, try this funky exercise because it draws attention to yourself. It's just more about logic. It's like all that's doing is getting the upper back muscles, rhomboids, everything around there to just flow around like your neck better. Think about your C-spine here. And if you struggle with movement in that upper neck part there, it's going to be really hard to do movements like this, which is why so many people get issues with it. So all I'm doing is just opening up, taking a deep breath in through my nose, into here, and then doing a few pull-ups and going back and forth just a couple of times. And it just improves the efficiency and smoothness of the movement. Okay, so just about got 7 on that one. Not too bad, but again, the idea or the art is you got to train as hard as possible without killing yourself for next week. Because next week, all I'm going to do is add a set. So I'll do 4 sets instead of 3. But I need to make sure I'm getting good quality and aiming for a higher average weight. So average weight in those 3 sets was 17 and a half. So I'd want to push, and even have to have micro load with half a kilo or a kilo. I want to go for 18 and above, but again, maintaining the form. So not too bad. Again, if you're doing week 1, you've always got somewhere to go. You always have to have somewhere to go. So you should have a little bit in the tank for week 1 whilst pushing yourself, because if you completely lever it and you can't overload it next week, you've halted your progression before you've even started. So it's about smart training, not going to failure. Again, just focusing on the technique. So triceps was really simple. Main movement is just the dumbbell tricep extension. Just keeping form as best as I can. 3 sets of 8 to 10. Then after that is just cable tricep extensions, trying to get right into the top. So when I'm contracting, not just focusing on the muscle belly, but getting right in the top of the tendons, so going into the medial and long head. I feel like if you can contract both of those from both sides, you can really squeeze internally and externally rotate your shoulder and feel it evenly in the tricep. I think that's great for shoulder health, because you really figure out how to get that mind-muscle connection all the way up to the top, to the tendon. So that's the idea behind that. Not really fussed about weight, just get a nice little pump. So really simple workout, 2 sets for back, 2 sets for triceps. Remember that my goal is strength, maintaining function. Nothing's going to have too much of fatigue to carry over to the track. It's Monday today. I'm going to sprint on Wednesday. If I wanted to put on more size, so I wanted to train for hypertrophy, I probably would increase the volume by 1 set per exercise or muscle group. Obviously, that's massively nutritional based as well. So yeah, very simple workout. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to see me cover, any questions, whack them in the comments below, and I'll get to them. And apart from that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and more videos coming your way very soon.